All right, everyone. The January layoff notices are absolutely piling up. Let me just give you a small list of layoffs for January so far. Amazon, Home Depot, UPS, Cigna. I was told today 2,000 people were laid off at Cigna. Meta, Nike, Pinterest, General Motors. A company called Trek, Trek, is teetering on the brink of bankruptcy and laying off. Also, a Houston company with 4,500 employees called Dow Inc. is teetering also on the brink of layoff. 2025, we saw almost 1.2 million people lose their job. That was a 4.5-year high. 60% of companies are planning on laying off this year in 2026. We are going to hit a catastrophic job market, even worse than it is now.
So, I got laid off yesterday. Feels so weird to even say that because this has never happened to me. I've never gotten fired from a job. I've never gotten laid off. I've always really left a job on my own terms. So this is something that I feel like I'm kind of struggling with and trying to get through right now, but...
Well, guys, after receiving more than 453 paychecks from Amazon, I have officially been added to the 16,000 people they have laid off just this month. And even though I won't be getting paychecks from them anymore, they still will be feeding my pockets because I will continue to invest in their stock. Most of us know that Amazon is in the works of trying to transition into leveraging AI and automation within their company. With fewer people being needed for their corporate tasks and labor work, this leaves Amazon's profit margins to increase more than ever before. Amazon is just simply cutting back on layers to enhance the efficiency of the company using AI. This is not just to cut costs, and it's damn sure not because of financial hardship. We all know Amazon is very, very well off as a company. With 14,000 job cuts in October of 2025 and about 16,000 job cuts in January of 2026, that's about 30,000 job cuts in total. Sheesh. This is exactly why it is very crucial for you guys to be building financial stability, investing in the market, and making sure you have yourself together so you do not have to worry about getting laid off, especially from a job like Amazon.
Tonight, shockwaves across Seattle's economy. Amazon is announcing another massive round of layoffs with 16,000 corporate jobs being cut. Couples Joel Moreno live in Seattle this evening with how the announcement is already hitting far beyond the company's own walls. Joel?
Preston, these layoff notices come on the heels of thousands of job eliminations that took place just 3 months ago. Now, the ripple effects on the local economy yet to be seen, but there is a lot of concern among small businesses that depend on Amazon's workforce.
When it comes to one-of-a-kind cuisine that draws a crowd, Sam Dangle is quickly building a reputation among the Amazon workers who favor his special recipes from Nepal.
We are serving a famous Himalayan dumplings, something that's unique here.
Dangle says he relies heavily on Amazon workers to keep his restaurant afloat.
So definitely lunchtime is Amazon staffs.
But now Amazon is parting ways with 16,000 corporate workers, which follows the layoff announcements just 3 months ago when 14,000 staff members were suddenly let go. Some Amazon employees are trying to take it in stride.
There's a lot, but I've been in this industry for over a couple decades now, and so I've seen quite a bit of it. So it's part of the cycle.
The Downtown Seattle Association said in a statement, a workforce change of this scale has ripple effects on the community, on individual employees and families and businesses that rely on the foot traffic. As companies grapple with emerging trends, we hope this pain is short term. And Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal says higher unemployment and a lack of job growth is hurting the overall economy.
We need employers who are responsibly thinking about how they support workers in this environment.
Dangle says he'll try to adapt if there is a downturn.
All depend on Amazon staffs here.
And as Amazon incorporates more artificial intelligence into its operations, workers will look to stay relevant.
For me, it's tell me and my team to focus on what you can control.
Now, while we know there are 16,000 layoffs company-wide, Amazon declined to say how many of those jobs are based right here in the greater Seattle area. Well, we will be checking with the State Employment Security Department to see exactly when they publish those details. Reporting live, Joel Marino.
Dow Chemical is a major employer here in Freeport. It was established in 1940 and spans more than 7,000 acres. The chemical complex here is one of the largest in the world. Dow has more than 40 production plants here that produce 44% of Dow's products in the U.S. and 20% worldwide. Dow says it will lay off almost 15% of its workforce, some 5,000 employees.
For Freeport, this is a big deal given that Dow employs about 7,000 people at its site and also uses another 4,500 contractors in the vicinity. So the loss of a significant amount of jobs is going to be a big impact throughout the community.
The reason? A shift to AI automation.
Some of it is due simply to the competition that we're seeing in the petrochemical industry, where a lot of the big plants are being built in the Middle East as well as China.
While specifics of how and where layoffs will occur are unknown, the news isn't good for small business owners here in Freeport. How do you feel when you hear something about Dow thinking about laying off that many people?
I just feel like it's a big amount of number, you know. I just feel like, man, I know a lot of people that work in Dow, so I hope they're safe, you know. And Dow brings a lot of clients to us also because we're a barbershop around the Freeport area, and, you know, Dow is pretty big in Freeport. And I just hope it don't affect their families.
We heard about that when some of Dow, workers came to eat here, and then they told us about it.
How does that make you feel when you hear that?
Not happy, of course, yes.
I spoke with Freeport Mayor Jerry Kane, who told me, quote, "We have not received info on specific impacts on Freeport, but we will continue to monitor the situation." Reporting from Freeport, Randy Wallace, Fox 20.
Atlanta-based logistics giant UPS is planning to cut up to 30,000 jobs this year. We learned tonight that the company started its reduction plan late last year. Atlanta News First, Bridget Spencer is live from the UPS customer care facility. That's in Southwest Atlanta. And Bridget, what does this mean for some of those employees?
Tracy, a lot of people will be affected by this in some way. However, UPS told me over the phone today that they're working hard, working diligently to help those people out. In fact, this facility right here behind us on Marvin Miller Drive will be one that's closing. Atlanta-based UPS announced they're cutting up to 30,000 operational jobs in 2026. We're talking about jobs like drivers and those who load trucks in the warehouse. Last year, the company said they were working to reduce their dependence on their biggest customer, Amazon, and focus on other industries. The CFO saying the job cuts will be made through a voluntary buyout and mostly through attrition.
One was the tariffs on low dollar value items coming from China. And then number two is the winding down of the Amazon business. Both of those lines of business were probably pretty low margin. And so this will improve the profitability of UPS.
Doug Bowman teaches marketing at Emory University and has closely followed what UPS is doing. A UPS rep told us a lot of this also has to do with automating certain jobs.
The logistics industry obviously is going under a lot of pressures for automation. We see in the popular press, Amazon is very good at giving us sound bites about how automated their warehouses are. It puts a lot of pressure on companies like UPS.
UPS will be closing their facility on Marvin Miller Drive in Atlanta. In a statement, they tell us, quote, all affected employees are being offered positions at nearby locations. UPS remains one of the leading employers in the Atlanta metro area with approximately 12,000 employees, and we are committed to supporting our employees throughout this process.
UPS is a well-run company. I would trust that they'll do their best if they can move the employees to an alternative location.
Although the Marvin Miller Drive facility might be closing, UPS told me in a statement that they're going to expand their footprint of their state-of-the-art SMART facility, also located here in Atlanta. We're live in Atlanta. Bridget Spencer,
Turning now to the economic front, Home Depot is now cutting hundreds of jobs as it implements a return to work or return to office policy for corporate employees. And according to our partners at the Atlanta Business Chronicle, most of those jobs are remote positions. So Home Depot is cutting nearly 600 jobs, many of them in its main office. A recent notice shows that 146 employees at the Vinings location will be affected. The rest are more than 650 remote workers. Now, these cuts come as the company rolls out this new policy. Starting in April, corporate employees will have to return back to the office 5 days a week. And it comes on the heels of more layoffs for other companies out here. Sandy Springs-based UPS is cutting 30,000 jobs. Amazon is laying off 16,000 people. And Pinterest says it's going to cut almost 15% of its workforce.
Welcome back. Some bad news for the Mid-South job market. Nearly 600 Nike workers are set to be permanently laid off in the coming months.
Yeah, this is bad news. Your news leader confirmed it today as 2 Memphis distribution locations will be affected. WRG's Shay Arthur brings us more and explains how those affected can get help.
Brutal conditions outside and inside. Employees at 2 Memphis Nike distribution centers are getting tough news too. 583 workers will be laid off effective April 3rd. The 2 locations impacted off New Fraser Boulevard and Shelby Drive. People we talked to who live in the neighborhood say this is a big loss.
I know money there. That's mainly what they got. The neighborhood. A lot of people work there.
Shelby County Commissioner Charlie Caswell, known for his work in the Raleigh-Fraser community, says he was disappointed when he heard the news. And then he got a phone call.
Church member who was working for Nike for 30-some years to get the letter themselves to say that they will be laid off. It hit closer to home.
As for why the layoffs are happening, the company tells us in part, we're taking steps to strengthen and streamline our operations so we can move faster, operate with greater discipline, and better serve athletes and consumers. We are sharpening our supply chain footprint, accelerating the use of advanced technology and automation, and investing in the skills our teams need for the future. Our actions to consolidate our operations footprint primarily impact our U.S. distribution operations. These actions are designed to reduce complexity, improve flexibility, and build a more responsive, resilient, responsible, and efficient operation, and to support our path back to long-term profitable growth. Caswell says it's now time to support those affected.
To know that many of these individuals in our community are going to be impacted right here in the Raleigh-Fraser community is something that we most definitely begin a discussion around. How could we support those families and look at jobs that may be available that we can begin to support those families with.
For your news leader, Shay Arthur, WREG News Channel 3.
The Greater Memphis Local Workforce Development Area Rapid Response Team is coordinating services with Nike and employees. Nike says layoffs will also happen in Mississippi, but they did not give the exact number of people.
We are on top of breaking news this morning. Nissan plans to cut 20,000 jobs, or about 15% of its global workforce, by the year 2027. Last month, the company warned that it was bracing for about $4 to $5 billion in losses. The company has had a tough time staying competitive in the hybrid markets and against other brands. Nissan has been looking to downsize since last year. So far, the company has already cut 9,000 workers. Nissan has 2 plants in Tennessee and a redistribution center in Mount Juliet. We're still working to learn if any jobs in the volunteer state will be impacted in this latest announcement. In January, Nissan announced the scaling back of lines and shifts for its plants in Smyrna and Deckard.
Well, I think we are seeing the most disruptive force in history here. Where we have for the first time, we will have for the first time something that is smarter than the smartest human. It's hard to say exactly what that moment is, but there will come a point where no job is needed. You can have a job if you want to have a job for sort of personal satisfaction, but the AI will be able to do everything.